Hi guys, welcome back. So I only have about half hour to do this video because I do have class at 1 p.m. But I was just informed today when I came to my family therapy class, my classmates told me that there was a shooting last night, a terrorist shooting, massive shooting, where this 28-year-old veteran of the U.S. Marines went to this bar in Thousand Oaks, opened fire, and killed 10 innocent people. And I'm like, wow, wow. Now, of course, I had to ask a question, which some people are like, oh, that's inappropriate. But I like to know the details. So every detail matters. So I said, what was his race? And then someone said he's white. And his name is David Long, if I'm not mistaken. And my classmates was like, it's kind of interesting how they're not really releasing, much about his identity or his name for that matter. And another student was like, yes, because he's white. Interesting, right? But I did take some notes on this situation. This is very fresh. It happened last night out here in California. Now, Thousand Oaks is, from what I understand, it is this kind of well-to-do neighborhood, very affluent neighborhood, north of LA. From what I hear, I think it's like 50 to 60 miles north of LA. And he went to the bar. The bar is called Borderline Bar. Interesting name, right? Like very suiting for the situation, Borderline. But he went to the bar and opened fire and killed 12 people. Hi, Tate. They say he had a 45 caliber gun. And my professor was like, yeah, that would do the trick. It's funny because sometimes people try to make it into a joke, right? And I'm a jokester myself. Like, I do have a sense of humor. But interesting, they say the guy had a kind of sense of humor too, but a kind of dark. It would say his humor would be kind of dark at times, right? And I can only imagine because, I mean, he spent 5 years in the U.S. military Marines, and he spent time in Afghanistan. So I was like, what do you expect? You're going to get dark humor from this guy. But yeah, Thousand Oaks sits inside Ventura County. Like I said, it's a very affluent neighborhood. The home value, the median range for the home value, they say is like $500,000, like $600,000 is like the median cost or value of the homes that are there. And I'm sure they go up through the millions. Like, people got money basically out there. They say it's out there by Santa Barbara, so they got money out there. But he lived with his mother, and he was 28 years old. He spent 5 years in the U.S. Marines from 2008 to 2013. And they say he was a student at CSU, California State University Northridge campus. And I'm like, damn. But this is what really got my attention. I was looking at one of the news reports, and this is a quote taken from a forum, Special Forces forum that he posted. The name of the forum was called Shadow Pier. So I think it's a forum for the military. And he made this post on their forum, I want to say it was a couple years ago. He said, I was honorably discharged in 2013. I am graduating with a BS in athletic training in 2 months. I found out a little too late that just wasn't the job for me. Maybe the ego got the better of me, but it took only one time, he says, for a 19-year-old D2 athlete to talk down to me and tell me how to do my job that I realized that this wasn't the career I wanted to head. So he was very specific about that, and obviously not holding back about how he feels. And just like, it took only one time, emphasis on one time, for a 19-year-old, so somebody who was younger than him, a D2 athlete, to talk down on him and tell him how he should do his job, that he was like, this ain't for me. Now, reason why that quote sticks out to me is because it's packed full with information. I mean, just get the flavor. You can get the flavor of this guy just by looking at that quote and seeing that just based on that encounter, he was like, this ain't the place for him. It makes it sound like he's impulsive. Now, no, we cannot draw a definitive conclusion to say that, oh, he was impulsive. But, I mean, kind of put two and two together, and considering the act that he just committed last night, I mean, that's pretty impulsive to do something like that, just to go into a place and open fire. But who's to say that he didn't have a plan? He could have easily planned that out. But we can definitely make a theoretical guess to say that that's our best, educated guess, that he could have been impulsive. And not only that, but to have control issues too. Because it's just like, wait a minute, y'all ain't about to tell me what to do. A younger person than me, who has less rank, tell me what to do? Sounds like a little bit of control issues to me. And it's not surprising, you guys. Like, I mean, it's kind of ironic, but then it's not, that I just made a video on this topic just the other day about the psychology of terrorism. And you guys have to go back and watch it. I don't have time to kind of go into detail, but basically the gist of what I was saying was that we got to be careful in these times, with people who feel a sense of a lack of control. I talked about when you disempower a person, that's a big thing. For some people, having control or being in control is maybe not a big thing, but for some people it is. And I talked about it in terms of our President Donald Trump, how people are like kind of bullying him and making all these jokes about him and doing all these things, right, towards him. It could give a person a sense of a lack of control or lack of power. And for some people where that's important to them, to be in control and to have this power, I mean, when you think about it, what better way to regain that power in their mind, especially if they're thinking impulsively, is to just go out and disempower other people, take their lives, And not only to take the lives of those people, but imagine the impact you're having on the family members of those people, the family and friends of those people. Now they feel disempowered. And as the theory states that energy is neither lost nor destroyed, it's just transferred. So if a person has this energy but they feel a lack of power, they can regain that power by taking someone else's power. So now he's not the one who although he's dead, yes, but he's not the one who feels disempowered. David Long doesn't feel disempowered now. He feels, I'm sure, very much empowered. And the family members of the victims, may they rest in peace, feel disempowered. It's like, aha, look who's disempowered now. And then they say that he was a student of California State University Northridge campus. He majored in athletic training from 2013 through 2016. He lived with his mom. So that's another thing, I don't know what happened with that. He got honorably discharged from the U.S. military in 2013. Interesting. To be honorably discharged, I mean, you still get the benefits. My ex, he was honorably discharged from the U.S. military. I think, ironically, it was the same year. It could have been 2012. But you still get the benefits. Like the U.S. military usually takes care of the veterans, right? They provide housing if you can't find a job, you don't have no money. Like, there are programs set up that are funded by the military, U.S. Department of Defense, that will take care of these veterans. They provide housing for them, rent-free. You ain't got to pay nothing. All you got to do is just have that ID to show that you are a U.S. veteran. But he was staying with his mother. I mean, I guess it probably worked for him at the time, and I'm sure she probably was very supportive of him. And the reports from the news said that his mother didn't sense that she was afraid, or for her own safety anyway, or she didn't feel unsafe around him, but she was concerned about him because he had several encounters with the police, where the police actually had come out to the home because they said he was acting erratically. And one of my classmates said that, yeah, he was like banging on the walls or something, trying to knock the wall out at his home, and the police came. And according to the news reports, his mother said that they had tried to remove him from the home, and it took like a whole day to get him out of the house. I'm like, interesting. He's white. If he was black, it wouldn't have taken no whole day to get him out of the house. I mean, race matters. Y'all don't want to say that, oh, leave race out of it, but no, race matters. We've seen this happen on the news, and the news is the one who brings us these stories, and we've seen where the police will go up in there and take your black ass out. If they have to kill you, they're getting your ass out. But for him, it's like they kind of gave him his space a little bit, but they was able to get him out of the house when he was acting erratically, and it took them a day. So like I said, he lived with his mother. But his mother, I think, lived more in fear for him, because they say that it's not that she was necessarily afraid for herself, surprisingly. But that's an interesting story, you guys, nonetheless, because I'm like, this just happened last night, and then it happened in this well-to-do neighborhood. And then it makes me think about my colleague, who is an MFT, a marriage and family therapist, who she knows I live in Inglewood. I work in Inglewood also for my prac site, but she keeps like trying to give me hints like, oh, it's a dangerous neighborhood, and you know there are gangs, and you gotta be careful, you know, because she knows I take public transportation. I'm like, okay, I understand that you're concerned about my safety, you know, I'm gonna, you know, on the lookout for me and be caring, right? You know, as most therapists are, but I kept telling him, like, okay, are you doing this to try to scare me or what? Because I say, that can happen anywhere. I said to her, like, and I said over and over, because she just did it recently, was like, oh, well, yeah, my friend or a family member told me that just recently, you know, this gang member had split this woman's throat recently, like within the past couple days, and it happened out here in Inglewood. I'm like, because she don't live in Inglewood. She lived like closer towards Hollywood, right, in that area. And I'm just like, dude, that can happen anywhere. I lived in Hollywood and seen some shit. Like, it don't matter where you know, like people try to paint one neighborhood as always more crime-filled and more dangerous than the next. It could be anywhere. And this happened last night in the Thousand Oaks, an affluent neighborhood. And for her to assume, like, people got this misconception that, oh, it only happens in black neighborhood. No, you can be anywhere. I bet them people at the bar did not think that that was going to be their last night alive, but it was 12 innocent victims at this bar called Borderline Bar in Thousand Oaks, and this man went in there and opened fire on their ass. And I'm like, that just goes to show it doesn't matter where you are. Nobody is immune, and no place is safe, so to speak. I mean, we want to kind of promote the idea that we live in a safe world, and I typically walk around with that in mind, like, okay, there's no sense in walking around in fear all the time, looking over your shoulder and all of that. Of course, you want to be cautious, but to just walk around and live in fear your entire life, like, what kind of life is that? So that's usually the stance I take, but definitely I'm pretty cautious. You know, we have to be and always alert and aware of our surroundings, you know, and to know that these incidents can happen anywhere. We're talking about a terrorist to go up in this bar and just start opening fire on people who ain't got nothing to do with his situation, because he was mentally ill. And some, I think mental health specialists have said that he could have possibly suffered from PTSD, as most veterans of the U.S. military do. It's one of the most commonly diagnosed disorders amongst veterans, you know, who come back from war. So definitely could have had PTSD, you know. He was just reacting to a situation, but it sounded like to me that was more premeditated, more than okay, in the moment type of impulsivity where I'm just going to go out there and shoot. I'm thinking that was planned. He picked a bar, you know, he had the gun, you know, and then for him to not have completed college, they say that he didn't complete college. Hi, Fallon. But they say he didn't. Did you hear about that? What happened? I don't know if you guys on the East Coast heard about what happened recently, like last night. This guy, this white 28-year-old U.S. Marine veteran, went into this bar and opened fire, man, and killed them. Like, he had to have some pretty good aim, because I don't think he took that many shots. And to kill, I mean, it's one thing, okay, people get injured, right? But to kill, and they say, I think he worked in infantry. He actually taught some infantry classes when he was in the military. So I'm like, damn, he knew that gun. He definitely, obviously had a good aim. But it wasn't good, the outcome of what happened last night. It's just so unfortunate, you know, because when they talk, I'm like, damn, for real? Because it happened there at Thousand Oaks, but that shit can happen anywhere, man. You know, it can happen on a train. Motherfucker could be on a train and some motherfucker go on there and just open fire and start shooting people. And who knows, I can be amongst that, right? God forbid. God forbid it happens anywhere, but it's just devastating. It's sad. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Because it's like, I just made a video about the psychology of terrorism. You know, and sometimes people don't get it, and, you know, we kind of judge people. It's another thing. Stop judging people and stop criminalizing people, but come from a more understanding perspective to see what's going on in a person's psyche. What did that person experience previously that has positioned them in this state where they feel so angry, or they hate people, or, you know, they're depressed, or they're feeling symptoms of PTSD. Like, don't be so quick to judge a person and cast them to the side, but be more understanding of them, more compassionate. We need more compassion in our society, I think, because we just quick to point the finger. And I only can imagine how he felt at that point when he did that. I'm sure he felt powerful. I mean, like I said, thinking in the mind of a terrorist, and the psyche of a terrorist is just like, to us, you know, y'all look at it like that's the most diabolical, evil act that a person can commit, right? And it is. It's sad, but let's try not to be so judgmental and look at it. If we can just take the time for a split second, which I know is very difficult for you guys, and try to look at that through a different lens. If you can somehow put yourself in a terrorist's shoes, just for a split second. I know it's difficult. Just imagine what could be going through a terrorist's mind. You know? One could imagine that they can probably be feeling very powerful to do that. Having a sense of pride or a sense of purpose to say, okay, I don't have any other place in society. Maybe this is going to give me purpose. This is how I'm going to go out and leave a legacy. And according to the reports, they say that he also died. So I'm imagining, like, I ain't even have to necessarily read the report, but that's usually how it goes. They go and kill a whole bunch of people and turn on themselves. Who want to live with that consequence of having to do time in jail, or even being sent to the death penalty for that? No, people don't want that. They just like, fuck it. We'll go and kill everybody, and I know it's going to make the news, which is another motivator for why I think a lot of times people turn towards these kind of terrorist acts, because they know that they're going to become famous. They're going to go down in history, you know? And people think, oh, well, they did, so how are they going to get a sense of reward from that? They do. Before they die, before they commit the act, it's a sense of reward and excitement and a thrill, like, yeah, I'm about to go do this. This is what's going to happen. And then for people who believe in the afterlife, they feel like that's going to be their reward. Like, when after they die and it happens, then they can look down and say, okay, look at all these people admiring me. Not really admiring in a good way, but they are, I mean, everybody's talking about it. So in a way, it's kind of like admiration, because they don't really give much attention to the victims, unfortunately. I mean, they have, I think in some police reports, or some news reports, they've kind of talked about who the victims are and their family members, but the focus usually is on the shooter, the terrorists, unfortunately. So, you know what, you guys, I do have to go, but I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, and I will catch you guys in the next one.